So these are all spinach seeds, and you can see they're starting to turn brown, and that's good on there. Focus in a little bit, right? And that means they're pretty much ready. Hang them up. Ideally what I'm going to do actually is wrap it in, I'm going to actually go buy some fine mesh and just basically wrap it and tie it around it. So as it dries and the wind blows, the seeds are just going to fall into it, and I'll capture all the seeds. That's the idea. That's the idea. Something else I'm doing now is actually, it's July and I need to trim back my salad garden significantly. And predominantly to make sure that my blueberries don't get overwhelmed and die, right? And what I'm doing is just cutting all the red clover down and just leaving it for ground cover. I got tomato plants coming up. I've got apple tree there, another apple tree over there. You can see the onion, green onion. I don't know if this is onion or green onion, I'm not sure yet. But I eat it anyway. So there's endless supply of onion. No, we don't buy any onion anymore. I eat the green stalks on this green onion. And so that's what it looks like. And what it looked like beforehand, it looked something like this. And I'm going to do this side too. I'm going to cut all this down and leave it for ground cover. You can see all this growth here. And I need to do this side here. And what I need to start doing is actually pulling these seed pods. These seed pods here is ready. Actually, I don't feel any seeds in there. Maybe they're in there, I just can't feel them. So, I'm trying to see if there's any seeds. Did they already drop? You know? I do not feel any seeds in here. They may have already dropped. So, anyway, that's what I'm working on today. I hung up my tomato plant, the mysterious tomato plant, and I wonder what caused it to die. Shame, this tomato would have been perfect. Well, I mean, it's still fine. It's got a little bit of, I think that's slug eating it. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of tomato there, and this is going to be a nice tomato. And I'm actually going to save that one. I'm going to let it ripen for seed. So that's going to be a seed tomato. I like that size of tomato. So I'm going to let that ripen and let those seeds grow in there. But take a look at the roots here. You know, I've never looked at tomato roots before, but look, they have long shoots out here. And I'm wondering, here's the top of it, right here, right? So these long shoots, I'm wondering if one of these shoots got into potato. Is this the effect of potato? Right? So tomatoes have a ball. Look at these long shoots. So, which means you can actually, based on this, you can actually plant them like I have, very close to each other. Look at that. Look at this mess of tomatoes. And I got tomatoes growing up under there. I've been picking them. You can see them in there. Whoa. Look at that clump of tomatoes in there. Look at that right there. That is a nice bunch of tomatoes in there. There's some more in there. So I have a stacked, and on the base here, which was kind of an accident, I just stuck these are melon. I think these are the small Japanese melon plants on there. I want to show you the side. This is kind of crazy. This is all pumpkin. I didn't plant any of this pumpkin. It just came up from seed that we tossed out. And it is all over the place. And I'm just kind of just directing it back in, right? And what I can do is just start cutting just cut the ends off so it can't grow anymore. I mean, it's going to, you can control it that way. See here, just, and there's a flower down in here. And that's one way to control it. But the problem I'm having is with slugs. I got to research slugs. I've got slugs. And the problem, because of the ground cover method I'm using, and slugs. And here's my first, that pumpkin growing. There's another one up there. I don't know where that guy's going. He's climbing the sky. He's not going to get very far. So, as you can see in here, let's see if there's any bastards in here. See, this is a boy. And what you have to do nowadays is you break these off, and you got to find the female, and just stick it in on a female. See if I can find a female. And that's a male. Get some more flowers in there. And I don't really have a problem. These are those little nasty, look how smart they are. They see me move around. They're very quick to fly away. Look, they're flying away. But those are the Japanese brown beetles that tear up your garden in the States. And you know what? I really don't have that much of a problem with them. And I think it's because of all my predators that I have. I'm trying to find a flower to pollinate, but these are all males in here. You can look around. These are all males. This one is just putting out males for some reason. So anyway, this is a male. This is a male flower. These are all males. I'm looking. And this is Jemima. This is that sticky potato coming up in here. So as you can see, I don't worry about. I just let the plants deal with themselves on the side. And here's where my potatoes were. And now look, this here, these little seeds right here are the seeds. Remember I put down those broken seeds pods that grew up? This here is actually, you're going to eat these. It is rape, baby rape, that's already starting to grow. So this is going to replace my spinach. Really good. And all I did was basically, let's see if I can find a seed pod for you. They're all probably opened up and gone by now. I went around and just opened up and dropped them. There's the blackberries growing. Lots of blackberries. But I need to deal with this side now.